This month, I dedicated my time to designing a set of minimal drums just from a small free synthesizer I found online. I've been playing around a lot with 70s drum machine samples, and I really enjoy the minimal plinks and plonks that they make. So I wanted to try and craft a few of my own, both for fun and because it'll give me the opportunity to get something a little bit more customized to what I like. So, first things first, we gotta work on a kick. So, for a kick, we usually want to start with a sine wave, but we want it particularly lower, down in the bass register. Now we want to adjust the amplitude envelope so it's more of a thunk than a bleep, which means a little attack to soften things out, a short decay, no sustain, and little to no release. And honestly, we could just stop there, but I think we could just go a little bit further. Let's add a little bit of noise to give it a slightly more lively sound. Now, finally, we're going to do something to give the kick a more full sound in the lower end, and we'll just go an octave and a perfect fifth up and add another sine wave. That's 19 semitones higher from the original note. I just chose that interval because it'll sound very consonant and harmonic to the ear, but hey, experiment, right? There's some other intervals and additions you can make to what I laid out, and you can get something weird and fun. The snare isn't going to be too different from the kick. Again, I want to start with a sine wave here, with a short attack and decay, and little to no sustain or release. Then I'll add some noise to the mix, just like before, just substantially more noise than I did for the kick. And now I'll just EQ it a bit, so that way we can really emphasize the mid-high frequencies, while also cutting out the super high end and muddy frequencies in the low mids. In English, this EQing step is just cutting out the harsh frequencies to get something that comes out the way I want it to. And then I'll also add a noise gate that just cuts off the sounds quieter than a certain threshold, so the sound doesn't ring out for too long. Finally, I'll add a soft clipper. Basically what this does is it takes the output of the sound, boosts the amplitude, and clips it when it goes above a certain threshold. The soft part in the name, soft clipper, just means it rounds the sound wave out so it doesn't come out too distorted and harsh. And there we go, there's our snare. Cymbals are pretty easy to achieve. Just gotta take some noise, pass it through an EQ to remove some of the low end, and just change the amplitude envelope depending on how long you want it to ring out for. Closed hats are short, open hats are long. I'll also make a cowbell and a tom just for some extra sounds to play around with. Those are as easy as taking a sine wave and changing the amplitude envelope and the pitch to match what we want. So I think I want to try a triangle wave instead of a sine for that tom. Maybe a little bit of noise too. Alright, perfect. Now we gotta play around with some of these sounds. So first we're going to try something really basic, a 4 on the floor beat with snares on beats 2 and 4. Let's also add a little hi-hat groove on top of it. And now the cowbell and tom. Alright, I say that was a pretty good drum beat for a warm-up. I also was wondering how these would sound in a lo-fi-ish pattern. That basically means making slightly offbeat drums to get a sort of swing pattern. Again, we'll start with a kick and a snare, and this time I pitched up the snare a bit. Then the hats can come in, real swung and pitched down this time. And maybe I can pitch the cowbell to get a little melody. You know what? I like this one so much I'll give it some chords. Yeah, I'll definitely put this one away for later. And finally, I wanted to see if I could do something just a little bit more technical with these drums. And we're going to be doing tuplets. Basically, that's just squishing odds amounts of notes into the space where a couple normal notes would go. That's how we get triplets, just squishing 3 notes into the space where 2 notes would usually go. For this beat, we'll start with the kick and the snare again. And now I'm going to use the hi-hats to track the rhythm here. Maybe some guitar would fit nicely to accent the quintuplets. And that's a wrap for the month. Hope it was as fun to watch as it was to make. I'll see everyone here next month, and make sure you follow my Twitter for weekly clips of Sound Design Sunday too. And I hope to see what some of you guys make for Sound Design Sunday. Make sure to use the hashtag too. Bye!